name is Brandon McMaster, owner and operator of Team No Evil out of Northern Michigan. After looking online and discovering there was no proper video to show about a 13 M90 Suzuki Boulevard motor removal, we had blow-by on the piston ring. Someone must not have done an oil change correctly or ran it too long, so there was smoke coming out of the exhaust. No indication of any gaskets leaking, so first thing good, we started off with the coolant pressure test switch or situation. We did the coolant pressure test and we had blow-by coming back, which means we had ample pressure going in. It escaped. That diagnostics was complete that it wasn't a coolant issue. Later on, we did a compression test, realized they were both at 95 psi. Upon determination of that, we performed a leak down test. Both cylinders had blow-by going through the piston ring. You can hear it coming out of the filler hole for the oil. With a situation like this, you want to disconnect your coolant system, drain it, importantly, right away. Get all the hoses disconnected. At that moment, disconnect your clutch cable, disconnect your spark plug wires, your intake assembly has to come out. It's all simple and easy, step by step, easy to identify. Once we got everything disconnected, had a couple secret bolts that we had to deal with the dry shaft here. The M109R video shows that you can just unbolt it, it goes out. This is not the same setup. A little bit of extra work removing the tire, drive shaft, getting out to get the clearance for the drive assembly to get removed. After that, we went ahead and disconnected the bar on the right side of the motor and the frame for the motor to slide out. After disassembling the starter wire, brake switch wire, foot controls, and a couple other plugs, we were at a point where we were able to slide it right out, no problem. This is not a difficult procedure. Do not feel scared about it. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on the YouTube video channel. I'm here to help anybody that's in need for this type of project. Right now I'm labeling the valve covers, front and rear. Got the bolts out of this one, popping it off. Looks like someone was already in here because we got gasket maker right here, which is not good. Makes you wonder what was going on. We got a valve. Looks like some valve adjustments are needed. We're gonna take off the cam chain tensioner down here, remove the cam chain and sprocket. I rotated the motor for the timing mark. Right now I wanna make sure that we got valve overlap on both of them, so I'm gonna go ahead and spin it over some more. And what we're looking for is the exhaust is now going down. Intake's going up. And then here, grab my flashlight, make sure I'm at top dead center compression with no valve overlap.
And where are you looking for top dead center?
Down here at my inspection hole. That doesn't feel right. Exhaust valves are way too tight, so we're gonna have to do a valve adjustment on assembly. That mark right there is top dead center. Right now I'm removing the thermostat assembly. It's gonna be 8mm nut right here, plus 2 Phillips head style rubber hose clamps. And then the pressure switch was already relieved. And then we have this hose down here that needs to be removed. So I'll probably take it apart right here. If I can get in there. Do that and that. That was really loose. This is why you have a 5K service, to prevent anything from happening as far as things coming loose and not functioning properly. There we go, got that. And we're attached right there. Intake's gotta come off. Interesting. A lot of little things are gonna have to be removed for this to work properly. It's unfortunate, it's not easy, but manufacturers don't make things easy anymore. So right now I removed the rear intake boot for the manifold, be able to get your thermostat housing, coolant system out, assembly, nice and neat. Pour a little bit out. Blue ice, we have blue ice in here. It's the best coolant system to have. So right now we're gonna take off our cam chain tensioner, remove our bolts for the cam sprocket, drop the chain, work on the rest of everything. All right, so we got the cam chain tensioner out in the front, recoiled really good, spring session's really good. I got this other jet down in here. I'm not exactly sure what that jet's for. It must be for oil transport. That's something you're gonna wanna remove and clean and soak and put back together appropriately. Actually, before we break these loose, I gotta get the camshaft off. So these right here need to come off. Get a screwdriver and a punch.
One, go.
There we go, got that one down. Now for this one. There we go, 10mm wrench. Oops, this way. When I drained his oil, he had really black, thick sludge coming out. Curious to know if we're gonna have to flush the bottom motor. Sounds like a possibility. One screw out in the bag. Stay organized. You don't want to mix up any of your bolts. Some of your bolts have longer depth. Some of them have shallow depth. Never run them in with an impact. It's always a good idea to run them in by hand first and make sure you're at the right depth. So lo and behold, that's off. Camshaft comes off. Pull the sprocket out. Camshaft has a notch right here that lets you know where you can center in your sprocket and then hand tighten your bolts in before you put your chain tensioner in, but that's coming for the assembly. Right now we're removing the rocker box assembly to access the rest of the cylinder head bolts. It's not easy to get in there. I wouldn't recommend using a crow's foot. Don't fight yourself. Everything comes off, 1, 2, 3, goes back together, 3, 2, 1. Oh, these ones right here. See my impact with my 8mm here. Never break these loose with your impact. I also loosened them by hand. This is a speed tactic to save you some time. I don't recommend ever breaking things loose with the impact, and or I don't recommend ever tightening them up with the impact. So as I'm looking in here, I got all my bolts, everything looks clean. Rocker arm looks really good. Right there. Camshaft sprocket comes out. Be careful, you have retainers. Your retainers are absolutely important for proper alignment. This one here had one retainer. Put that in there. Let this drip in here. So currently right now we went ahead and got done working on disassembly for all the bolts here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 12mm. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 10. The scary thing about this is I'm taking these apart and a lot of these bolts aren't torqued to spec. So when you're in the shop and you buy a brand new motorcycle, you get that 5K checked out and make sure you're golden. But if you don't, you're gonna have catastrophic engine failure from lack of torque on your machine. Wow, the base is wanting to come up with the head. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up in one swoop. Something's holding it in, and that's not that one, not that one, not that one. There were two more. All right, so after we got the motor taken apart, had a broken nail, whatever, we determined blow-by from the piston rings. This is not a good sign. Right now you see all this burnt and unburnt oil. It's still kind of wet. When you see them inside the valves like this, that's an indication of constant oil flow. So we're gonna have to take this to the machine shop. They're gonna remove the valves. They're gonna clean everything up, make it look brand new, and put it back together.